Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, at least one day a week, this day, we would like to also sing one song for devotional song. And we've sang this one before. I don't have any other ones written up here, except for the one for the departed Vaishnavas, which we don't want to sing just right now because it has its own time. So we've sung this before, and we can sing it again. Maybe next week I'll have a different song written up here. So I think I'll sing two lines, and then you repeat. Okay. Udila Aruna Pura Baba Jai Jamani Gora Amani Jage Vakata Sangmuha Loya Sate Gela Nagara Braje Tattai Tattai Bajalako Gana Gana Tahi Jajera Ro Preme Dava Dava Sonara Anga Charane Nupura Baje Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari Polena Bolare Vadana Bori Vicheni Davashe Gelore Rati Divasa Sharira Saje Amana Durlaba Manava Deho Payaki Koro Bhavana Keho Abhina Bajile Yashoda Sutta Karjame Pori Velaje Udita Tapana Hoile Asta Dina Gila Vole Ohoi Bevyasta Tabi Keno Ebe Alasa Hoi Nabaja Hridoi Nabaja Hridoi Raje Jivana Anitya Jana Hasar Tahe Nakvina Vipada Bar Namastraya Kori Jatani Tuvi Takaha Abana Kaje Jivarakayana Sadanakam Jagate Asi E Madhuryanam Avijatyamira Tapana Rupe Hriday Gagane Vira Rid Gagane Viraje Krishna Namasudha Koriyapan Jorayo Bhakti Vinoda Pran Namadina Kichu Nahiko Aro Choda Bhuvana Maje And then the translation. When a tinge of red, just picture this. We're describing Lord Chaitanya's pastimes and going out and chanting Harinam Sankirtan early in the morning. When a tinge of red on the eastern horizon heralded the sunshine, the jewel of the twice-born Lord Gaurasundar immediately awakened. Taking his devotees with him, he went all over the countryside, visiting towns and villages of Nadia. The mridangas resounded, tat-tai, tat-tai, and the cymbals chimed in time, and Lord Gauranga's footbells jingled, and his golden form trembled slightly in ecstatic love of God. Lord Chaitanya called out to the townsfolk, "You spend your nights uselessly sleeping and your days decorating your bodies. Now just fill your mouths with the vibration of the holy names. Mukunda, Madhava, Yadava, Hari, chanting without offense. You have achieved the rare human body. Don't you care for this gift? If you do not serve the darling of Yashoda now, as Krishna, great sorrow awaits you at death. Each time the sun rises and sets, a day passes and is lost. Then why do you remain idle and refuse to serve the Lord of the heart? Understand this essential fact. Life is temporary and full of all kinds of miseries. So take shelter of the holy name as your only business. Desiring to bless all souls, the sweet name of Krishna has descended to the material world and now shines like the sun in the sky of the heart, destroying the darkness of ignorance. Drink the pure nectar of the holy name of Krishna and thus satisfy the soul of Bhakti Vinod. There is nothing but the holy name within all the 14 worlds. So you can imagine the Lord Chaitanya getting up. He was getting up at, according to the song, he must have been getting up just about at sunrise. We get up earlier than that. But he was getting up at sunrise. As soon as the sun started coming up, the sky is all red and off on the horizon. And he's getting up, calling all his devotees together. Let's go out and chant. And of course, they're waking everyone else up where they're chanting. We can't get away with that. But imagine the mood and telling everyone, just wake up, you sleeping souls. Chant Hare Krishna. Don't waste your life like this.
What does all this name mean? Madhava, Mukunda.
Mukunda, Madhava, Yadava, Hari. These are names of Krishna.
But they have a meaning.
Yes. Mukunda. Mukunda is, he gives liberation. Mukti. Mukunda, Madhava. I don't remember what Madhava means exactly. It's the name of Krishna. Mukunda, Madhava, Yadava. Yadava, he was part of the Yadu dynasty when he appeared in the material world. Hari. Hari is the name of Krishna also, God. It means one who takes away all inauspicious things. Hari. So.
And
Gaurachandra, or Gaura, that's the name of Krishna, of Lord Chaitanya. His body was golden colored, and Gaura means gold. So it's like a golden moon. So, like Gaura Sundar means he's golden. He's got a golden complexion. Is what it means, describing his very effulgent and golden colored body. Like that. So. Okay, we have to go on to Caitanya-caritamrita. Continue where we left off. We left off in the Caitanya-caritamrita. It was Adi Lila, which is the first part of the Caitanya-caritamrita, chapter 1. We're in verse 46 now. This chapter is called the Spiritual Master, which is very important. And in Caitanya-caritamrita, there are verses that are, a lot of the verses were composed specifically for Caitanya-caritamrita, and a lot of times there are verses that are being quoted here from other sources. So this is one of those that's being quoted. It's actually from the Srimad Bhagavatam originally. Acharyang mang vijanayang navamanyeta karhichit Namarcha puja suyeta sarvadeva mayo guru. One should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. Demigods, he reads also like devotees and demigods. The demigods in the heavenly planets are devotees, and sometimes demigod also refers to devotees in general. Purport. This is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 17th chapter, 27th verse, spoken by Lord Krishna when he was questioned by Uddhava regarding the four social and spiritual orders of society. The Lord was specifically instructing how a brahmachari should behave under the care of a spiritual master. A spiritual master is not an enjoyer. A spiritual master is not an enjoyer of the facilities offered by his disciples. He is like a parent. Without attentive service of his parents, a child cannot grow to manhood. Similarly, without the care of the spiritual master, one cannot rise to the plane of transcendental service. The spiritual master is also called Acharya, or a transcendental professor of spiritual science. The Manu Samhita explains the duties of an Acharya, describing that a bona fide spiritual master accepts charge of disciples, teaches them the Vedic knowledge with all its intricacies, and gives them their second birth. The ceremony performed to initiate a disciple into the study of spiritual science is called upaniti, or the function that brings one nearer to the spiritual master. One who cannot be brought nearer to the spiritual master cannot have a sacred thread, and thus he is indicated to be a Shudra. The sacred thread on the body of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya is a symbol of initiation by the spiritual master. It is worth noting, or is worth nothing, if worn merely to boast of high parentage. The duty of the spiritual master is to initiate a disciple with the sacred thread ceremony, and after this sanskara, or purificatory process, the spiritual master actually begins to teach the disciple about the Vedas. A person born a Shudra is not barred from spiritual initiation, provided he is approved by the spiritual master, who is duly authorized to award a disciple the right to be a Brahmana if he finds him perfectly qualified. In the Vayu Purana, an Acharya is defined as one who knows the import of the Vedas, the Vedic literatures, abides by their rules and regulations, and teaches the disciples to act in the same way. Same 3 points, in other words. Same. I feel like I should say something about these verses as we're going along. So, this verse is quoted in Acharya Mangajanyan. Lord Krishna is speaking this verse, and he's describing to one of his close associates. He's telling this to his Uddhava, who's a very close associate of the Lord. Not that Uddhava needs this knowledge; he's full of so much knowledge, but it's for us to learn. So we're learning from Srimad Bhagavatam what Krishna is speaking to his pure devotee already what his pure devotee already knows, which is um, about the duties of the different orders of life. So there are Varn Ashram, Daivi Varn Ashram, means that there are four social orders, and there's four spiritual orders. Four social orders, four spiritual orders. The four social orders are um, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. And the four spiritual orders are um, um, well, actually, I'm saying this wrong. The spirit, Brahmanic, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. These are the social orders. Brahmanic, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And the spiritual, that's social orders, and the spiritual orders are Brahmachari, we say Brahmachari Ashram, Brahmacharini Ashram also. She'll probably get made up that word, Brahmacharini. So Brahmachari Ashram, Brahmacharini Ashram. Grihastha Ashram, Vanaprastha Ashram, and the Sannyas Ashram. So these are four different social and spiritual orders, and Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here, and in the Vedic society, at the age of maybe 5 years old, all the boys, only the boys in those days, were sent off to the spiritual master, Guru Kula. Guru Kula meant the place of the spiritual master. Guru Kula, the place of the spiritual master. And they actually stayed at the spiritual master for many years. And they'd be trained in brahmachari life. So for until they were, so when they're 5, till they were 20 or 25 years old, they were under the direction of spiritual master, and they were taught Vedas. They were taught so much about Vedic knowledge, memorizing so many verses, understanding the philosophy, understanding the purpose of the human form of life, learning to follow the instructions of the humbly following the instructions of the spiritual master. Even in the Vedic system, even in the Vedic system, the spiritual master in the Gurukul system, the spiritual master, every day he would call all his disciples to for prasadam. He would individually call them. It was just like, okay, it's time for prasadam. Everyone runs in. He would call each one. And one day, somehow or other, he didn't call one particular disciple. Yeah, either accidentally or intentionally. He didn't call a disciple. Oh, I was not called, so I'm not eating today. It didn't happen often, but it did. That was a system. If your spiritual master did not say you eat, you don't eat. So, but this was for training. It normally didn't happen like that. The spiritual master's not trying to put anyone in a problem, but he would say that was the rule anyway. And the brahmacharis, this is brahmachari ashram. So the boys would go out, and they would go house to house, person to person, begging alms for the spiritual master. Alms means like donations. They'd be begging for the donations to bring back to the spiritual master, because the ashram had to be maintained. You need money, you need food, you need like that. So they would go out like that, and anytime you go house to house, go to person, begging for something, some people will be nice and give you, and some people will say, well, they won't be nice. I won't say what they'll say. They will not be nice. So you learn tolerance and humility and these kind of things. But you're doing it, and then you bring back whatever money or food or whatever they got, everything, every penny, every grain of rice. They would bring everything back to the spiritual master, and he would make all arrangements for the cooking and everything like that. So, but the other side, which is mentioned here, the other side which is mentioned in this purport, is that the spiritual master, he is the spiritual master. He was receiving all these things, but he was not receiving it. His mood was not, I'm receiving this. This is for me to enjoy. This is mine to, this money or this everything is for me to enjoy my own sense gratification. These are all my servants. No, the mood of the spiritual master, just as the brahmacharis or the disciples, in this case they're brahmacharis because they're younger, they're not married. They have all respect for the spiritual master and very humble, submissive, bring everything to the spiritual master, accept whatever he says, whatever he teaches as correct, and they don't challenge anything. And the other side of that is the spiritual master. His mood, he knows his position. His position is that on behalf of Krishna and on behalf of the disciplic succession, he is accepting their service and he is giving service. He's accepting the service of them as required, and he has to accept that service. And at the same time, he is giving them service because he's giving them spiritual life, giving them spiritual knowledge, training them to be devotees of Krishna, like that. That's the mood of the spiritual master. So his mood is service, a servant of them, and their mood is servant of the spiritual master. Once Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture, I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was to some students, non-devotees, and he was talking about the different orders of life, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, and the Brahmanas were actually, in the society they were considered the highest, they were the most renounced and those kind of things. So he was explaining like that. So one of the students asked, when it came time for questions, so he said, so I guess you consider yourself a first class man. You're the Brahmana, right? He says, no, actually I'm the fifth class man because I'm servant of everyone else. We responded, I'm servant of everyone else. Of course, Srila was actually first class, but he responded to that.
But what is the fifth class? So
there isn't. Varnashram, there's actually only 4, but he's making the point. Okay, I consider myself lower than everyone else. But of course, in reality, this spiritual master is right at the top. But because of this particular person was challenging like that, he was challenging. So Srila Prabhupada responded in that way. Another time, Srila Prabhupada went, I don't know, again, I don't remember exactly where he was, I know the circumstance. Where he was speaking, there was his Vyasa-san was set up. He had a Vyasa-san there. And but when people came in, he could judge with the people's mood. So what did he do? He didn't sit on the big Vyasa-san. He came down and sat on a pillow on the floor, sat on their level, and spoke with them. And they're listening to them. And they're looking at the big seat. He said, "Why are you not sitting up there?"
And he says, because you're envious of me. He's straightforward. So I'm sitting down here because if I sit up there, you won't accept anything I say. So the spiritual master Buddha's spiritual master is also servant, but his service is giving knowledge, whereas the service of the disciples is rendering service and following the instructions of the spiritual master. The spiritual master, his service is to give spiritual knowledge and guidance and so on, so we can become Krishna conscious. So both sides there's the Buddha's service. But it's just that the kind of service is different. Another thing here, Srila Prabhupada was referring here is in the purport to, the initiation, and he's referring to, the Brahmin thread, which actually means second initiation. So we have two initiations. We have a first initiation, and we have a second initiation. And the first initiation is, it's really meant to help us get going. It's and the first initiation is not a cheap thing. It's just in word. In ISKCON, first initiation means that you've made a commitment that I'm going to chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds or more daily on my beads. I made a commitment that I'm going to four regulative principles. I'm not going to eat meat, have loads of sex, get intoxicated, or gamble for the rest of my life. So this is the first initiation. Some places it's a little bit different. They just say just start chanting Hare Krishna, and you get your first initiation, and then we get really serious. Then you can get second. Srila Prabhupada started off, first initiation was very serious. But he also says that the second initiation is the real initiation. So take it, like that. But both are very important. So if we get first initiation, then we should definitely aspire and work up to the second initiation, which comes naturally, because if you've got first initiation and you keep chanting around, you keep following the principles, you keep nice service attitude, then in due course of time, you'll be getting your second initiation. And the second initiation means you get the Gayatri mantra. Now, in its Vedic system, and which we also follow in ISKCON, women who get second initiation don't get the Brahmin thread. It's just not done. I can't explain exactly why, it's just not done. But the Gayatri mantra, yes. And that Gayatri mantra it will help us to advance further. If we're chanting our rounds, we're following the principles, and we're chanting Gayatri mantra, our advance will even increase. If we're not chanting our rounds, or we're not following regular principles, the Gayatri mantra will be more or less useless to us. So that's why we have to show, we've got to prove to ourselves and to the spiritual master that we can maintain chanting Hare Krishna, or Hare Krishna mantra, and that we can keep following the four regulative principles. If we can do that, these days we have to wait for about a year after first initiation. When I joined the movement, it was 6 months. So we got it. I got my first after. Now you have to wait about a year for first initiation, and maybe another year if you're serious for second. When I joined the movement, first initiation was 6 months if you're serious chanting, and the second initiation was possible after maybe another 6 months or so at that time. But a lot of devotees were not taking it seriously, so it should probably increased. It made us wait longer. Jai Shri Gauratai, Shri Radha Vijay Hari, Jagannath Balaram, Subhadra Ki Jai. I just realized the time. So we actually only got halfway through the purport. Maybe I always have to ask for questions. So, are there any questions?
Yes, I can just explain briefly what each one of his class, not Grihastha, you said?
Grihastha, okay, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. Brahmachari is what we were just describing. Brahmachari means the unmarried men, or unmarried women too, who are unmarried and celibate and practicing spiritual life. You may say bachelor, well, maybe the bachelor now is not exactly, because these days bachelor out there means you're open for anything. but in spiritual circles, brahmachari or brahmacharini, which is the ladies version of it, means that you're celibate student. You're probably in the ashram. You're for sure you're in the ashram. You're chanting around. You're following the principles. You're engaged in devotional service like that. This is the brahmachari life. Then the next level up, or next one is grihastha. Grihastha means householder. If you're married, so married. There's a distinction between grihastha and grihamedi. They're both called household, but grihastha means that is Krishna conscious married life, which means Krishna is the center. I mean, you still have, you can have family, you can have your children. You probably have to. Somebody's got to be working because you need income. All that's there, but the goal, the purpose in grihastha life, the center in grihastha, real grihastha life, is just be Krishna conscious. Krishna is the center. Whereas the goal in regular, what would be called grihamedi life, which is also married life, you may have family, you got to work, you got to all those other things are there, but the purpose of grihamedi life is just material, something material. It's not striving for spiritual perfection. So grihastha is for spiritual perfection. We look at Srila Prabhupada, of course, was before he took sannyasa, he was a grihastha. He had a few children, and he had his job, and he had everything. But he also used every minute he could spend chanting or writing. Started his Back to Godhead magazine during his grihastha years, like that. So he was grihastha for sure. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had maybe 8, 9 children, 10 children. I don't remember. He had a big family. He had big responsible position as a judge, a high court judge, but he spent every minute he could spend. He spent chanting Hare Krishna, writing books. He wrote around 100 books of spiritual life, on top of all his other material responsibilities. So he was definitely topmost grihastha example there, and like that. So that's what grihastha. Vanaprastha means when you get somebody who's married, gets older, children are grown up, they're gone on their own way, like that. Then vanaprastha, the man and the woman may go traveling, for example. An example. All the families grown up and gone away, gone on their own. They're not depending on. So vanaprastha means that the husband and wife, they're there. No more sex. No more children. You're not going to have children. You're celibate from that point on. And then you may go traveling to places of pilgrimage, going to sadhu sanghas and visiting Vrindavan and chanting Hare Krishna a lot. Things like that. That's vanaprastha stage. And then sannyas for Not everyone takes sannyas. It's for men. Women don't take sannyas. And not in this kind anyway. Not yet anyway. Hope that doesn't change. But sannyas means that you renounce everything. If you're married, then you go on your own, and you travel and you preach. I show Prabhupada that. You travel and took sannyasis, traveled everywhere and preached. So that's sannyas. And then but in the real Vedic system, it wasn't like the man says, okay, I've had enough of this family stuff. Now I got an excuse. I'm going to go out and I have an excuse to get out of here, and nobody can complain. Well, actually, the system is you have during your married life, if you were married before taking sannyas, because a few take the brahmachari and eventually they just take sannyas and they never got married. But if you were married, and your wife's there, and you had some children will be grown up. Hopefully, some of the children will be boys or men by that point. So the wife, the women in Vedic culture are always under protection of someone. That's the system. Always under protection. So so if a husband takes sannyas, the wife is still there, still alive, still there. He doesn't just leave her. Just okay. You deal with it yourself now. No. What he does is the grown-up children, grown-up sons especially, they take charge, protecting and taking care of their mother, of course, it's the wife of the person who's taking sannyas. They take care. So she's always under that protection. So girls, when they're little, under the direct care of the father. When they're older, they're under the care of the husband. And when they get older, if the husband either dies or takes sannyas or something, then they're supposed to be under the care of the old grown-up children, grown-up sons. That's the system. But Vedic system is women are always under the protection of somebody. That's the system.
Thank you so much.
Questions? Okay, and there's nobody asking questions online, and I'm over time now. So tomorrow we'll be back on Monday, Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'll see if I can write up a Shri Ishapanishad verse, and we'll maybe chant that a few times until we memorize it. Okay? Because we have to become preachers for Srila Prabhupada's movement. We have to learn the philosophy, memorize the verses, and be able to tell people about Krishna and defend Krishna's, defend, not that we just live this way of life, we should understand it, and we should be able to, if someone challenges, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Then we should be able to say, we're doing it because of this, and here's the scripture, here's the verses that say why we are doing what we are doing. We should come to that point. So we'll be working on that starting tomorrow. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.